Live from the Convention Center in downtown New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm Tim Wildman on American Family Radio. This hour, we are talking about what's happening this week at the Super Bowl, but more than that, we're talking about some of the Christian athletes who are involved in the game and some of the stories. Roman Gabriel III is with me. Just to set it up for you here, all the media is in this place from around the country. CBS Sports Radio, NBC,
Fox, Sirius
Television, NBC, CBS Television. XM Sirius is over there. ESPN's right over here by us. Literally 10 feet away from us right now is former NFL great Marcus Allen, who's doing an interview with a radio station. So it's a lot of great players, Hall of Fame players even around here for the week. There's Archie Manning right there, Roman.
That's right, right next to us to the left of us.
Roman, Archie Manning's about 10 yards away. Archie Manning is a first down away from us.
Eli and Peyton were here last night at their old school doing an event for children over there. And that's one of the other things that goes on here is all these players all week long, on behalf of the NFL, they give out millions of dollars to the city's youth programs, drug and alcohol education, all sorts of things. Money comes in here for charities like you would not believe. For the homeless, keep feeding kids that are Taste the NFL Party does that, has done it year, raising millions of dollars. And these players go all around town talking to kids, charities, and doing charity work all week long.
Well, we'll keep bringing you some of these stories. We were talking about Michael Orr a little bit earlier, but we have a gentleman now who's our guest.
Good friend of mine coming in. I'm glad he's with us. Tim, Chris Draft, he played 12 years in the NFL, mostly with the Atlanta Falcons. He also played with the Panthers and the Rams. Had some experience with 49ers in 1999. Chris is a linebacker, was an excellent football player, but more importantly, he was an incredible young man and a guy that I really respect because he has a foundation where he helps empowering families and has a great story. Lost his beautiful wife a few years back to lung cancer, and he is on a fight to eradicate lung cancer and to make available the information and to raise money on that cause's behalf, obviously. But our good friend Chris Draft coming in, Super Bowl Sunday right here, coming up, and he's here for the Super Bowl for a lot of things. Chris, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you for the introduction.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you being on our program here on American Family Radio. Where are you today?
I'm actually at the LSU Stanley Scott Cancer Center. We're over here meeting with Director Ochoa and had a chance to go through the infusion center, meet with some of the patients, survivors, and really speak to them and learn about what they're doing here in Louisiana. It's an amazing story. Amazing story. The hospital I'm in right now the first floor was underwater during Katrina. After Katrina, and they were taking patients out here that were on chemo, and other ones that were in the hospital, taking them out and using boats, and then set up shop in Lord and Taylor after kind of the water receded before they were able to move back here in this hospital. So. Absolutely a tremendous commitment by the Cancer Center folks here and just the hospital in general.
Chris, tell us about your organization called Empowering Families. Roman mentioned that you lost your wife. I was not familiar with your story, and maybe some of our listeners are, but would you tell us what happened there, what the situation is?
Well, my wife passed in December of 2011 from lung cancer, but she was diagnosed December 2010, and just shortness of breath. She was absolutely just in shape, strong, and out of the blue. A little shortness of breath. She went and spoke with her primary care doc, and next thing you know, it's lung cancer. And for me, and I know so many others, that's why we just announced the video that we hope everyone goes to see at teamdraft.org. Talking about lung cancer and what at that particular time, for someone like my wife, 37 years old, would anybody think that she could get lung cancer? Well, no. Did we know the numbers? No. But very, very quickly, unfortunately, we had to find those numbers out and find out that there are 15 to 20% never smokers, that there are over 40 to 50% former smokers, and then there's current smokers after that. And it's possible, and it's possible for someone that was challenging me to do P90X. It was possible for someone that was challenging me to do a 10K race with her. It's possible for someone that strong to be able to have lung cancer.
Chris, I know that you said that she was in tremendous shape and was a great inspiration to you. And one of the things people think about is that you've told me before, the recipient of her inspiration and giving you the opportunity that you're doing now to try to eradicate this disease and try to really make some inroads. So tell me about how you're doing that, some of the things that are going on. I know we can go to chrisdraftfamilyfoundation.org to see all of your initiatives, and, man, there's a lot of them there. But hit some high points why you're here and some of the things that you're doing here at Super Bowl week. Because what we're trying to tell people is that, the guys come in like you, former players, and it's not just about you. It's about doing things in the community and giving back.
Yeah, definitely. Former and current players are doing amazing work. I mean, I just have to say I was honored to be a part of Team Gleason last night as we played a football game against the Wounded Warriors, raising money for Team Gleason for ALS. And that was current and former players who were out there. As far as the Chris Draft Family Foundation, Keisha's just absolutely inspiration for Team Draft. But it really personified all the other initiatives that we have, from character team to get checked and get fit, literacy leaders. All those things really played a part in our fight against this disease, and are playing a part in our fight as we're educating about it and moving forward. Keisha understood when we launched Team Draft on our wedding that any change, this miracle that could happen, that could bring her back from where she was at. Unfortunately, she had passed away a month after our wedding. But she knew that she had faith, absolute faith, that things could turn around.
Chris Draft.
Knew that if with that faith, that she would have to tell people. Would have to.
chrisdraftfamilyfoundation.org is where you need to go to find out. And I know that a lot of people have been touched by this in families and friends. Chris, before we let you go on AFR.net and today's issues with Tim Wildman, your host, and Roman with you alongside, one of the things that we wanted you to tell our fans out there is obviously we have a huge football game between two great teams, the two best teams, the Ravens and the 49ers. One of the things that fans always ask me is what is it like before you walk out, whether it's a playoff game, a championship game, the Super Bowl? What's going to be the mindset of and there's a lot of young players on these two teams. How does a player go about, and what's the emotions, and how do you keep it in check for something as big as a game like this, Chris?
I think probably the biggest key is realizing that it's another game. As long as they can realize it's another game, it will help them keep those emotions in check. And then that means the game plan is the same thing. They have to look at this team across from them, 49ers, Ravens. They have to look at that other team, and they've got to tackle, they've got to block, they got to play 60 minutes and finish it. So they have to stay concentrated on that. But in the middle of staying concentrated on that is a party. It's Mardi Gras. It's here. It's media day. It's all the family and friends that want to come. It's a game that's bigger than no other. That have everybody all over the country, all over the world that's watching. So as long as they don't concentrate on all of those aspects, it's a game that has to be played, and at the end of the day, you came to win the trophy. You came to win the championship. You didn't come so that you could party and put the beads on. You came to win the championship.
Chris, thank you for being our guest. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks, Chris.
Chris Draft. He played how many years?
12.
And several teams.
He's a great example of what the normal player in the NFL goes through, not the stars, the ones that stay on the same teams, that are making a team that even when you do well, you're one of those 35 to 47 players where they're trying to always something going on.
Let me ask you about that. It's the top 5% probably of players in the National Football League that make the most money, right? Mm-hmm. The other guys, they make a good living, but they got to make their money.
None of the money's guaranteed in the NFL.
It's not?
No, not like baseball. When they sign a contract, no matter whether they're healthy or whether they leave or whatever happens, they get paid. In the NFL, the contracts are based upon year to year. So all that stuff where you look at somebody saying he signed a 5-year $80 million contract. That's why they want the money up front and the bonus. That's the only guaranteed money. So if year 3 we decide we don't want you anymore, we cut you, you don't get paid.